Good day, dear listener, and welcome aboard the Ozma. We have an exciting show planned for you. But before we get too far, a word to the wise. Though Project Ozma is considered to be a comedy, the humor involved is known to contain swearing, allusions to sexual themes, as well as themes of minor violence. A more in-depth description of this content as well as the transcript can be found in the description. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy today's episode.
The four of us put our heads together and did our best basic overview of Earth. Or, well, three of us. Kamoy took one look at the massive tomes Knihak pulled out from God knows where, and declared that she was, in fact, very busy working on her own presentation. After that, the only thing she contributed were some eye rolls and a couple of snide remarks about doing her own homework. But with Knihak on our side, well, Quinn and I pretty much had it in the bag anyway. That little guy was a machine. He even had time to explain the ceremony to us, in extensive detail. I'll spare you the worst of it, but here's the SparkNotes version.
Even with incredible alien technology that has been developed across the universe for millennia, the PowerPoint is still the most effective way of delivering a presentation.
Which is understandable. Why would anyone mess with perfection? So, basically, all the new rulers make PowerPoints, present it to the council, rock their respective worlds, and boom, independence. Kinda. I zoned out about halfway through, so I mostly just got the PowerPoints part. Something I did catch, though, right at the end of his little lecture, was that we would, for some probably really important reason, be having dinner before our presentations in front of 100 alien leaders. Which doesn't really seem like a super great idea. Like that scene in Stand By Me with the blueberry pie, and that is really not where I was going with this, but... And thus, water is the main fuel of all life on Earth.
I still don't understand that part. On my planet, these elements cause intense burning and pain.
Difference in our fundamental buildup, I guess? I mean, we are talking about different planets here.
That's true. And I suppose it makes sense in order to thrive in that environment, but it just seems so redundant for humans to be so fragile and short-lived, but also have forms that are so difficult to maintain.
Hun, you are preaching to the choir. That said, I think this existence is painful enough, and I, for one, cannot wait until it ends.
What? What are you talking about?
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
I'd like to apologize on behalf of the Queen, Knihak. It's this running gag we have on Earth, commonly called gallows humor. It has made its way into younger generations, like ourselves, regrettably.
How odd. Maybe don't mention that during the presentation.
Noted.
All right then, let's get this thing sent off and go to dinner. I'm starved.
Great. Is there anything else we need to take care of with this thing?
Like what? This looks like a pretty good summary of Earth to me, and we are not explaining millennials to the council, or so help me.
No, I just mean, like, do we need to put it on a flash drive? How are we going to present it?
Oh, that's easy. We're not responsible for that at all. We just send it to the main hub where it's converted into the proper format and made accessible to us when we're ready to present.
Oh, like the cloud?
Not quite like a cloud. It's highly unlikely that there'll be any precipitation involved. Sorry?
No, not like a literal cloud. That's just the term we humans use when we talk about storing data and, the grabbable internet.
I'm not sure I really understand.
Please don't trouble yourself, my lord. It is a little more complicated than what Percy is making it out to be.
Barely. I just don't know the terminology.
I rest my case.
Yes. And also, I think for the presentation, stick to what you do know.
Yeah, just send the thing and let's go eat. We've been working on this nonsense for hours.
There! All set. We managed to finish it just in time. Let's get out of here. Kamui, are you... Oh. She's already left.
However will we manage?
Percy!
So will we get to watch all the leaders present?
Nope. This is going to be just like the other day. New leaders only.
So we'll learn about your planet then too?
Yes. I'm very excited to tell you about my home. Learning about Earth was very intriguing. It shares a slight similarity with my own planet, Skoax, especially in the construct
Awesome. Can't wait to hear all about it, but enough work talk now. Let's go eat.
Are you sure you really want to eat that? Not to offend you or anything, it just looks strange.
Not as strange as whatever the hell it is you're having. What even is that?
Spaghetti and meatballs?
No way.
Why not?
Because that's what I'm eating.
But there's red lumpy gush all over yours.
Well, buddy, the blue goop on yours doesn't look too appetizing either.
Is now really the time?
Yes, Mom.
I'm ignoring you.
Good to know. Hey, Knihak, why don't you tell me a little more about what the food on your...
Good evening. I hope you're all enjoying your meals. New leaders, please report to the demonstration room for preparation of their planet's presentation. Thank you.
Time's up, I guess.
Good luck, Perce.
What happened to ignoring me?
I realized that if I was going to ignore you every time you were being childish, we'd never speak again. So I'll let you off the hook this time.
Oh, Quinny, you do love me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some alien elders to dazzle. Nervous?
No, not really. I'm very well versed when it comes to public speaking. Why are you?
What, me? No way. This is like a walk in the park. I give presentations all the time. You know, at college and all that nonsense.
Maybe also don't mention your little college thing during your presentation. Based on what you told me about what happens there, I'm not sure it would be received very well. The council can be a little conservative at times.
Does that mean my lesbos joke is a no-go as well?
Well, the phrasing could use some work, but if you really want to, then maybe.
Got it.
Percy, it seems to me that you sometimes have the tendency to speak and act before you think. My recommendation is to consider everything you do during the presentation, since one wrong move might mean...
World domination. No worries. I got this.
Yeah, just take a deep breath and go from there.
He seemed to mean well, but there was something about the way Knihak had phrased it, and the fact that he knew so much about me, that made me think about what Quinn had said about Knihak knowing too much. But even with that in mind, I couldn't shake the feeling that I trusted him. He seemed too straightforward and friendly to have any ulterior motives. But then again, that might just be exactly what he wanted me to think. And considering all the earlier fiascos, I figured that I wouldn't entirely dismiss Quinn's suspicions. And speaking of, Knihak was up first.
Ruler Knihak, if you would please bring up your presentation.
Well, here I go. See you out there, Percy.
Good luck! Knihak walked over to this big supercomputer-looking thing and punched in a short code. A few seconds later, a small hologram popped up from his translator with a quick description of the panels. He paused, probably skimming through his notes one last time, and then walked onto the stage with the confidence of someone who knew not only exactly what he was doing, but also how to absolutely ace it. It made me think about how Quinn and I were essentially just bullshitting our way through this, and the million ways this could all get fucked up hit me. And that's when I got nervous.
Are you all right, Percy? You seem a little anxious.
Yeah, AI, it's chill. I mean, why would I be nervous? I've got this 100%. Why would you even ask?
Good evening, fellow rulers. I'd like to welcome you all to your very first look at my home, Skoax. My native region is what you might describe as a desert. It is very dusty and humid, with large animals that roam the uninhabited portions of the area. Most of them are peaceful herd animals and provide my people with vital nourishment. But a few are incredibly dangerous, such as this one, the venomous Shimik, a creature without any known counterparts on any other planet, known to grow up to 30 feet long and strike at any moving object.
As Knihak presented, I glanced out from behind the pillar and into the crowd. everyone seemed very intrigued and attentive, with some of the older rulers even nodding approvingly. I spotted Quinn out in the crowd taking notes of Knihak's presentation and occasionally glancing around the room just as I was. We met eyes and she gave me an encouraging nod, followed by a sudden applause which confused me, until I realized that Knihak was done with his presentation.
Thank you, Ruler Knihak. Now, Queen Persephone will present us with a quick overview of planet Earth.
AI, how do I...
Here's your clicker. Good luck.
Thanks. I walked up to the stage, smiling at the council as I passed them. None of them returned it, which was fine, totally. I just continued up to the podium, telling myself that I wasn't bothered and that everything would be fine, and that, good evening, everyone, I am Queen Persephone of Earth. Please allow me to take you on a quick tour of my planet, or Earth 101 as I like to call it. So, here we can see that... What? The first slide was wrong. All jumbled up, wonky, and just really fucking bad, to say the least. The words were randomly spread out all across the screen, and the image was blurry like I just pulled it from a thumbnail and just blown it up. Unprofessional, to say the least. I could hear disapproving murmurs from the crowd. I guess my Earth version of PowerPoint doesn't like to cooperate with the Ozmas. Well, either way, I apologize for the quality, and, well, on this next slide, you'll hopefully be able to... What's going on?
Queen Persephone, there appears to be some sort of problem with your presentation. Will you be able to rectify it, or should we just shut this whole production down? I think I speak the entire council's mind when I say that we are not happy to have our time wasted on this.
I can't even begin to describe the amount of embarrassment I felt as the council member scolded me. Like a kid who's trying so hard to do well and impress everyone, only for all their hard work to fall to shit and no one even realizing how much they tried to... So yeah, just like that. I looked out over the crowd, desperate for a friendly face, but there was only Quinn, and she seemed to be panicking even more than I was. She caught my gaze, gestured at the screen, and shouted something that got lost in the general irritated ruckus of the room. When I turned back to my PowerPoint, I saw that the screen was vibrating on its hinges as the static grew louder and...
Persephone!
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I really don't know why this is happening, but, I think I'll be okay. We can all just imagine, make the best of a bad situation and all that yada yada, so yeah, I'll just, describe the images to you. So, Earth is a planet that is 75% water and... It took me a few seconds to realize that awful sound was coming from my presentation, because I guess things just hadn't gone shittily enough already. The noise was so intense that the whole crowd slapped their hands over their ears and, well, audio holes and began a mass movement towards the doors of the hall, shoving each other out of the way in order to get away as fast as possible. I turned desperately to the presentation and tried to switch it off with the remote that AI had given me, but the PowerPoint wouldn't budge. No matter what I did, it just kept going, and I had just come to terms with the fact that I had not only doomed my planet, but also that I was going to go permanently deaf when... The council member who'd scolded me unplugged the entire machine, and stood there, on the other side of the room, silently looking at me with dark eyes. Technical issues, am I right?
Thank you for that presentation. You may take your seat. And now for the next presentation of our new rulers, we have Kamui.
Mortified, I walked back with my shoulders up to my ears. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Mieli, looking smug, and I wished the floor would just open up and fucking end me.
Perce, it's gonna be okay. We'll figure it out.
Someone really wants us to fail this thing, huh?
It just doesn't make sense. No one else touched that presentation. It was just the three of us.
Yeah, just the three of us.
Project Ozma is a Goose Thunder Network produced podcast. Today's episode, Earth 101, was written by Megan and Ylva and edited by Sterling Rae with sound editing by Sonny. Music was composed and performed by Benny James. The voices you heard in order of appearance were Allison as Percy, Owen as Knihak, Petra as Quinn, Benny James as AI, and Virginia as the alien announcer. Want to continue to stay up to date on all things Ozma? Follow us on Tumblr at Project-Ozma, on Instagram at Project Ozma Podcast, or on Twitter at Project Ozma.